Hey, good kind people, what is going on? Lee Sanders here. You are checking out a all-new The RCWR show covering the latest in all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. And man, oh man, oh man, what a fantastic weekend it has been so far, especially if you are a wrestling fan. I mean, the hits just keep on rolling, y'all. They just keep on rolling. I am loving this. Seriously, I am loving this big time. Last week, so fantastic. We rolling into this week, going into this weekend. Everything has just been fire so far. SummerSlam literally went off the air. I don't even think it's been 3 minutes, but SummerSlam went off the air. Yeah, bit of a long event. So you want to talk about the pre-show? You factor that in, that's pretty much an extra hour right there, because the pay-per-view actually started at 8, but you had your pre-show at 7 p.m. Eastern, and now it's 12:12 a.m. as it is the beginning, officially now, it's the beginning of Sunday. So yeah, we had ourselves a nice, depending on how you want to look at it, yeah, that was a bit lengthy. That was a bit lengthy. Almost felt as if WWE was making up for lost time, given what was going on with the pandemic and in its peak months and all that. So check this out, y'all. We're doing something a little bit different here on the show. And I do want to welcome those that's checking this out live right now. We're doing something new for you guys. So we're going to try this as an experiment and see how this works out. But just to kind of do a little brief recap, nothing too lengthy, so just bear with me. But when we were here on Friday night, we were covering AEW Rampage Fallout. And I appreciate those of you that had went out of your way, check that out and everything. What a historic night that was. But, towards the end of the show, things had got a little bit shit crazy, quite honestly. And if you guys had ended up checking out the stream on demand, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So to combat better against trolls and all that, well, we've implemented going forward a couple of new features. One, beginning with this episode, and like I said, we're only going to try for a couple of shows. We'll see how it works out. And, you know, honestly, if everything is still good, all right, cool. But when I'm live and you guys want to be able to leave comments, you want to interact, you know, sound off about what you thought about the pay-per-view and all that, you'll be able to comment. So as long as you are actually a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, you're tuned out. Like you don't have access whatsoever. So that way we can really try to nip that shit in the bud and all that. So that's what we're doing going forward. Now, we definitely will open up the phone lines for those of you that saw the SummerSlam pay-per-view tonight. Despite all the silliness that had went down. Like I told you guys on Friday night, it just comes with the territory. That's straight up. It just comes with the territory. But we also will open up the phone lines as well for you all that want to, you know, call in, sound off about what you thought about the pay-per-view and all that. All I ask is that when you call in, leading up to when I say you can call in, all I ask is that you are very concise with your points, your question, your comment, because there's no telling how many people maybe want to try to call in and everything. So what I want to do for like maybe the first little bit, probably like about the first 15 minutes. So we're at the 15-minute mark right now. I got 12:15 a.m. here on the East Coast. Let's say by the 30-minute mark, so in about 15 minutes, let's say we pause. We'll put the chat number out there. Anybody that wants to come call in, we'll do it like that, and then pretty much rinse, repeat. Yeah, Robbie, I gotta say, as far as SummerSlam tonight, Robbie is saying, for those of you not able to see in the chat here, he's saying that SummerSlam, 10 out of 10, his favorite SummerSlam ever so far for him. It's his favorite pay-per-view of the year. Do you guys agree with that? Sound off. Definitely would love to hear from you guys. I mean, for me personally, this was a studded SummerSlam. And look, when you really take a step back and you look at this SummerSlam pay-per-view, you just always felt that from the moment WWE decided, okay, you know, now seems to be about the right time for us to get away from this whole Thunderdome experience. Now that we know what's going on with this pandemic, We now have the vaccine and we're starting to see these restrictions be uplifted. All right, let's go ahead. And it just always have felt to me ever since they were done with the Thunderdome, this is what it was all about for them. This SummerSlam. I've always kind of felt this way from the moment it was revealed that WWE, the Thunderdome, no more. And then you're kind of seeing, wow, SummerSlam is only but a couple of months away. We kind of still don't really know where it's going to be going down here just yet. But you just kind of felt more and more and more and more and more that, nah, you know what, live touring, yeah, we're definitely going to be doing live touring. And for me, just considering all of those things, I always took into account that some of the guys that we're used to seeing around this time of the year going into SummerSlam weren't there. And I always felt that WWE was just saving all their ammo going into SummerSlam, that they were really going to look at this year's SummerSlam as the official "we are back." They were going to go above and beyond to really treat this as if it was their WrestleMania moment. And they really did treat this SummerSlam like a WrestleMania. And yeah, I definitely would agree with a few of you guys in the chat as far as the ending goes. Yeah, those last few seconds, definitely to Sean's point, saying that the ending was insane. That was a insane ending, yet at the same time, it's an ending that we have always wanted to see for quite some time, man, for quite some time. So look, we got a lot of matches we got to cover. And like I said, at the 30-minute mark, no matter where we are, we'll pause, read some more of you all's comments. Those of you that want to call into the show, sound off about the pay-per-view, you'll be able to do all of those beautiful things. Pre-show matchup, for those of you that might be a little bit curious, remember what I had talked about when we were offering match predictions for TakeOver and SummerSlam. We did that show Wednesday. So shout out if you had checked out that Wednesday show. Remember what I had said there about Baron Corbin and actually, no, forgive me, guys. Forgive me there. No, if I'm not mistaken, why does it feel like Wednesday I had said that? It actually kind of feels like maybe I said something on the Friday show. It was either the Wednesday show or the Friday show. But I remember putting out there to you guys, what happens with that Money in the Bank briefcase? Is it safe to assume that Big E is not going to cash in the briefcase? Or, is it possible that Baron Corbin could make some type of a cameo at SummerSlam and Big E tries to get his hands on him and maybe we get a match or whatnot, an impromptu match? What's going to happen with that? Well, pre-show, in case you guys had missed it, pre-show, Big E defeated Baron Corbin via pinfall. That match went about 6 minutes 35 seconds. I was getting ready to say 60 seconds, but no, it was I wish. I'm looking at something else over here. Forgive me, guys. I'm focused though. 6 minutes 35 seconds. I sadly did not check out that matchup. I sadly did not. I knew what time the pre-show came on. In all honesty, I was actually busy being in front of the computer here, trying to work out the kinks to make sure that we have ourselves a nice, great streaming experience for tonight, especially for all you guys, longtime listeners, subscribers, most importantly. So go to the actual card. RKBro, Randy Orton, Riddle, defeating AJ Styles, Omos to become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. 7 minutes, 5 seconds. Great tag match. I think most of us kind of felt that the way things were going here, that it was definitely in favor of RK-Bro. I know some people are probably looking at what's going on right now, and if you're a fan of AJ Styles, if you're a fan of Omos, you're wondering, okay, well, what does this mean for AJ Styles and Omos? Is this pretty much, the end? Are we maybe about to see a split here? I don't see that happening just yet. I definitely see AJ Styles and Omos continuing to be a tag team. It would just be crazy, I personally feel. That'd be way too soon to have Omos and AJ Styles break up. But you've been paying attention to your Raw programming these past several weeks, you know that there's been some seeds, without a shadow of doubt, that's been planted just enough there to get the ball rolling on eventually that breakup between Omos and AJ Styles. But I mean, look, honestly, if you were to tell me AJ and Omos break up in about 3 months, okay, right. But I would be shocked, and I think many of you would be shocked as well, if in the next couple of weeks they break up. But I'm just not seeing that happen. And, you know, look, I know some people were kind of crapping on some of these matches at the start of the pay-per-view. I don't know if you guys saw that on social media. By the way, shout out to those of you I was interacting with on social media all throughout the day. It was really cool. It had a lot of great discussions too, man. One of the discussions, and I essentially had got the ball rolling, it had to do with Bianca Belair. Oh, man. A lot of salty people in regards to Bianca Belair. We'll talk all about that in a hot minute. But the first couple of matches, people were a little bit bummed out. You know, if you want to get technical, even if you wanted to include the pre-show, you could say, yeah, man, pre-show, and then the first 2 matches of the actual card, all short matches. What the hell? And a lot of people were complaining about that online, and it's just kick back and just enjoy yourselves, because, like, no matter how you cut this, you just can't win either way. It goes to that whole point I've always brought up over the years. You can't please everybody, nor should you try to please everybody, because think about it for a second. Okay, the match is too short. Okay, well then let's 10 minutes here, 12 minutes. Okay, the match is too long. Okay, well, let's just do it just right. Ah, man, the pay-per-view was too short. Okay, well, the pay-per-view was too long. So you feel where I'm coming from? So, it was just amazing kicking back, just watching some of these people just complain about the length of the matches. I'm going, the hell with the length. I'm all right with the length as long as storyline-wise, match quality-wise, everything's banging. And honestly, from what I saw of RKBro, which was, and by the time I came in on RKBro, by the way, I came in with about maybe, because that match ran about 7 minutes and change. By the time I came into that matchup, I would say about 3 minutes almost, if I was lucky, because, and I'm curious, sound off in the chat, because I am reading what you guys are saying. Shout out to Robbie, shout out to Sean, shout out to Tony, and everybody else that's tuning in live right now. Definitely that's going to be checking this out on demand and on the downloads. But I'm curious, 2-part question for you all. I'm very curious. Number one, how were you streaming the Peacock app on your desktop, or were you streaming it on a tablet device, on a phone, through a game console? I'm most curious how your experience had went, because I was streaming it on the Xbox One. And when I finally was ready to log in to just launch the WWE section, I get this notification that apparently it's time for me to, if I want to access all this great WWE content, which is under the premium content, that I needed to sign up. I'm going, wait a minute. I did sign up. You guys have been taking money from me on a monthly basis. What the hell are you guys talking about? Join up. Like, I am joined up. What the hell? So I actually had to go back and check. One of my credit cards had expired, and I already got the replacement. I got the replacement with the new expiration date and all that, but I never did go into the WWE joint or Peacock, and I never did update it. So the interface with Peacock, and I was talking to Michael. I was talking to Michael about this, and shout out to Michael. Michael was a really cool guy I had came across at AwesomeCon on Friday when I had did my panel. And that panel, by the way, I will have it uploaded as a live premiere this Sunday, August 22nd. It'll go live at 2 p.m. So if you guys are around at 2 p.m. Eastern, you can definitely kick back with me, and I'll actually be in the chat, and I'll be interacting with you guys while you're watching Well, we're watching it together actually in real time. I've yet to watch it, so I can't wait to see how that all had panned out. But from those that had reached out to me, especially once the show was over and everything, it was people that had reached out to me and said how much of a great time they had and everything, how insightful they had found the panel and all that. But Michael was telling me how wait a minute, there's a point I was trying to, it's wrestling related. Yeah, Peacock. I was talking with Michael, who good kid, been to a lot of WWE shows and everything, and somehow we got on the subject about Peacock, and we were just talking about how horrendous the freaking app is and everything, right down to the point when I'm trying to log in and get myself set up to watch SummerSlam, I get that login crap. The interface, just to try to put in your respected credentials, I struggled big time. And mind you, I was struggling in front of my Xbox One app. Any other app, and I'm using it through the Xbox, I don't have as much complications. Just trying to do what I was trying to do. I got so frustrated, I told wifey, I said, hun, next time when it comes to Peacock and I need to do some shit, just tell me to do it in front of the computer, because that's just the quickest. So it took me a minute, but I was able to catch the tail end of this. RKBro, look, me personally, if you ask me straight up, I would have loved it if AJ Styles and Omos would have continued to be the tag team champs. But at the same time, I can't deny that there is great chemistry there that's going on between RKBro, man. I can't deny that. The name itself, it sells. Just all the great marketing stuff that you can do, man, from t-shirts and you name it, foam fingers, you name it. You can just do all kinds of cool shit with that. And it's a nice throwback, too, to the older days of the Attitude Era, per se. You definitely get that. You definitely get that Rock and Sock connection, but you also get that Team Hell No connection as well. So I'm loving what's going on. And look, you had to give the fans in attendance their good feel moment, by the way. By the way, shout out to everybody that was in attendance at, Paradise, Nevada, at the Allegiant Stadium. 51,326. That was the official number of those in attendance for SummerSlam. I saw somebody try to make a fun joke online, and it had to do with CM Punk. Somebody said something along the lines of, and somebody had just mentioned AEW earlier. I think it was essentially, I'm looking in the chat right now, Double DC. You know who you are, Double DC. And it's so funny because one person, I follow and everything, and I'm not necessarily lurking on them, but I do time to time. I follow them. I see some of their comments, and one person in particular had made a comment about how, CM Punk had sold about 15,000 tickets. Meanwhile, Cena and Roman Reigns, they essentially did about 51,000. And it's like, okay, yeah, that might be kind of true, but you also got to factor in the logistics. You got to also factor in what's going on with the seating capacity for starters. And then in that respected city / that respected state, what's going on as far as, do they have a certain capacity percentage that, you feel where I'm coming from? But then the other thing that you got to factor in as well, is, okay, well, how much time did necessary promotions have to find the proper venues within their respected budget? And there's a whole bunch of logistics that go to it. Not to bore you guys, but one thing that there's no denying between what AEW Rampage did with their little 15,000 or 16,000, whatever the attendance number was, still a great number. I'm not throwing no shade. I'm just telling you what some of the people had said. But one thing that totally equal what went down at Rampage and what's up at SummerSlam, hey, yo, you better make sure if you starting to feel a little funky, you stay your ass at home and get checked out, man. Cause yeah, you feel where I'm coming from. All right, I told you guys I was gonna definitely keep track of time and all of that. So this is your opportunity. You can definitely sound off some more while I'm looking at the chat here. And if you want to call in, you want to sound off about some of the stuff that had happened on the pay-per-view, you can definitely do so. You want to call in, you can definitely do so. The number to call, bear with me a second here. It's taking me a good while to try to memorize this number. And something else that I'm doing going forward, especially if you are okay with it and you're kind of like in the habit of always calling into the show like Steven is, for example. I am getting to a point, I'm pretty good memorizing numbers. So I can easily remember the first 3 digits of an area code. And if you want, I can save it. You know, I'll put your little name in. I'll never call you, by the way. This is just a show number. This isn't even, what you're calling isn't even my personal number. It is just the show number. Okay. So voicemail and all that other shit, like I ignore all that shit when it comes to that. But you guys want to call in 202-769-1364. Again, 202-769-1364 for those of you that want to call in and you want to sound off about the pay-per-view. And if you can bear with me a couple of seconds here, I will actually put it in the chat. There we go. I got like 2 monitors here, so I'm trying to navigate as best as I can. So bear with me here. And once I put this number out, now again, if you call into the show, please listen carefully. If you call into the show, one thing I want you to do before you call in, think precisely.
You know, baby.
Hey, shout out to Brad. Brad just subscribed. Welcome, Brad. You know it, baby. You know what time it is. If you're going to call into the show, one thing I want you to do before you call into the show, because I don't know how many others want to try to call in, right? So what I need you to do and everybody else to do, you know, in respect to those others that maybe are interested in calling, think precisely what points you want to bring up about tonight's pay-per-view. Keep it very condensed. Keep it as short as possible. Don't be running off all over the place. If you can kind of, you know, like let's try to keep it under, you know, every caller that calls in, let's try to keep it under 4 minutes if we can. 4 minutes is like the absolute cap off, and we can try to get in as many calls as we can. All right, so you guys got the number now. You guys are good to go. And while I'm looking at the phone here, and bear with me here, let's log in the mixer here. I'm going to sync up to the mixer. Boom. Okay, we're good to go. All right, so now that that's ready to go, I'll continue on with the show. You guys got the open invitation now. I'll just keep on going, and then when I see a call, I'll definitely just jump right into it, all right? So we talked about the Raw Tag Team Championship match. Let's talk about the next matchup. Again, another short match that had a few people, you know, but, I mean, come on now. We're talking about Alexa Bliss taking on Eva Marie. Alexa Bliss defeating Eva Marie. 3 minutes, 50 seconds. What do I say about this matchup? You know, one thing, Doudrop got a lot of love. Piper Niven, she got a lot of love, and that just really took me back. It really did, in a positive way, because I thought that as far as Piper Niven Doudrop goes, I thought that was kind of one of those, you just kind of have to have a unique taste for a talent like that or whatever. But it really took me back, and I was reminded of when I did the panel on Friday, and we were talking about some of the wrestlers that we like, and I remember, I'm pretty sure at one point I did bring up Doudrop. And there were a few people that actually put their hands out there in the air like, yes, you know, that they were excited to hear that I had mentioned that name and everything. So to see Doudrop really be the one to get the biggest pop between the three, or yeah, amongst the three, to see Doudrop be the one to get it, That was just a telling story in itself. And then Alexa Bliss, I got to be honest, as far as reactions for tonight, crowd reactions, I would have to say as far as most lackluster, just looking at this entire card, I would have to say as far as most lackluster, it's actually a tie. I don't know how you guys feel about this one, but for me, it's a tie. The Miz, Morrison, Xavier Woods segment, and then definitely the Alexa Bliss entrance. Just everything she was doing in the ring, it pretty much was mostly on deaf ears there. I mean, you had some subtle little claps for her and all that, but it was kind of like, it is what it is. It was kind of one of those type of deals. So that would be my tie. And Nikki Ash. Oh, I can't wait to talk about Nikki Ash, y'all. I cannot wait to talk about Nikki Ash. But for me, looking at Alexa Bliss, Eva Marie, this is just further continuing on their little story arc that they got going on here. And you're really under the impression that either two things is going to be going down between Eva Marie and Doudrop. And based off what we saw tonight, Doudrop showing Eva Marie some tough love, taking Eva Marie's little fashion robe, putting it on her, little jacket, putting it on her, mocking Eva Marie, even grabbing the microphone and saying, "Yeah, and you're a loser, Eva Marie." Talk about putting the salt on the wound there. I mean, man, ooh. So you're looking at this and just kind of what's been happening off and on the past couple of weeks, where Doudrop has really let it be known with her body language she doesn't like the way Eva Marie is essentially retrospecting her, right? So either we're finally going to see Doudrop just kick Eva Marie like a bad habit, or she's going to somehow come into the crosshairs of Alexa Bliss, maybe join forces with her. But see, here's the thing you got to ask yourself. Is it going to be a case where Doudrop joins Alexa Bliss free will, or is it a case where Alexa Bliss puts some type of a mind spell on her? Like, me personally, I don't think the mind spell shit is needed. I really don't. I think if you just honestly go in the direction of, she knows what's right, she knows what's wrong, she knows what's popping, what's not. She's tired of Eva Marie. She's just tired of the bullshit. Joins forces with Alexa Bliss, and pretty much, right, the rest is pretty much history. But for me, I looked at that match as nothing more than just further advancing that story arc. So, don't be too surprised if you go into Monday's Raw and you see Eva Marie, who essentially is having a fucking shitstorm, and says something along the lines to whoever is interviewing her. Yeah, obviously at the pay-per-view, Doudrop was very disrespectful, and she did not do as she was told, and yeah, she's being a bad personal assistant. But we had a heart-to-heart conversation, and you can rest assured that going forward, now that we are definitely on the same page, the despicable, reprehensible actions, her behavior from the pay-per-view is definitely not going to happen again. Isn't that right, Doudrop? I can see Eva Marie kind of coming at Doudrop, something along those lines, right? Because here's the main question you got to ask yourselves here too. What does Eva Marie have on Doudrop that's continuing to have Doudrop tolerate all of this bullshit? Seriously, you just got to stop and really ask yourself. That's probably like one area that has not been addressed yet. And it's kind of one of those head scratchers. So hopefully we'll learn a little bit more as this story progresses. But yeah, that match, it pretty much, it is what it is as far as that matchup goes. I'm just looking in my notes here, trying to see if there's maybe anything else I want to comment on in regards to this matchup. Yeah, Alexa Bliss defeating Eva Marie with the twisted DDT. Yeah, really nothing else to talk about on that one. Your next matchup of the night, I can't believe we're already talking about this matchup too, by the way. That can't be right, is it? Is it already? Yeah, it is. Damian Priest defeating Sheamus to become the new United States champion. 13 minutes, 50 seconds of a match. Fantastic. Fantastic. Mad shout out to Sheamus. I hope you guys, I got to follow up on what I had talked about on this week's shows, man. Give Sheamus his flowers. Seriously. Give the man his flowers. He has been one of the unsung heroes. He has been one of the unsung MVPs during this pandemic when it comes to going out there and hitting home run fucking matches. He has really stepped his freaking game up. I haven't been this excited for the body of work that Sheamus has been putting out there. Probably not since his rookie years when we were first introduced to him on the main roster of the WWE. Quite honestly, I thought way back then he was putting some really good shit out there, but definitely, and I'm sure he probably would attest to it in an interview if he was asked the question, you know, hey, do you feel that there's a certain period there where you were just going with the flow, where you were just essentially phoning it in and just whatever works, whatever floats your boat, just trying to get the job done, versus where you're at now in your career? I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of went there, you know, and said, yeah, I definitely was at that point, you know, once in my career, to the point that you're talking about. But yeah, shout out to Sheamus. Sheamus made Damian Priest look like $1 million fucking dollars in their match tonight, without a doubt. He made him look like $1 million. You know, I gotta admit to you guys, though, I was actually pretty surprised that Damian Priest had became the new United States champion. Was very surprised at that. One of the main reasons why I was surprised at that was because I officially looked at this really as opening act 1 for Damian Priest and Sheamus, and I just felt, okay, with this being act 1, Sheamus will get away here. He'll get away with this, but this will continue on, and you know, we'll see these guys. We'll see these guys lock up again at the next pay-per-view, and maybe Sheamus kind of has a, you know, his luck runs out then. You know, it's kind of like one of those type of deals I was looking at. But no, for Damian Priest to get it on this night, I'm all right with that. And look, not for nothing, but man, Priest, no bull. I loved what he was doing down there in NXT, without a shadow of doubt. What he was doing down there in NXT, badass. And he really put his shit together. Let's be honest. He really did. I remember when this guy was running around as Punishment Martinez and all that. You saw the potential, but there was just some areas where you would just kind of, you couldn't help but fold your arms and kind of go, all right, well, who else you got? Like, yeah, I see a little. Who else you got, though? You know, it was kind of one of those type of deals with him. But then, oh, forgive me, guys. Hang on a second. Yeah, let's take that off. I did not set that up yet. So you guys, if you're not seeing your chats on the screen right now, just a little learning curve. You guys got to bear with me. On the next show, I will definitely have that taken care of. I'm doing some new technical stuff behind the scenes. So just bear with me. Next show, I'll have it. But I do see what you guys are saying so far here. If you notice, we're not streaming anywhere else tonight. We're keeping it simple. I'm streaming just right here on the YouTube for you guys, right? We'll probably do a rebroadcast once this has been processed, ready to go. We'll probably upload it to Facebook or schedule it to Facebook and the other outlets later on and all that. But yeah, NXT, I mean, full circle, just really as a performer, as an in-ring performer, he's really changed in the most positive way. Really stepped his game up. And you know, it seemed as though he was being tested. It really did, because you go back to that period where he was teaming up with Bad Bunny, and you're going, okay, this is really about Bad Bunny. It's not so much about Damian Priest. Like, what the hell here? So for him to finally, as that singles star, that big guy, for him to finally get that moment, couldn't be more pleased. Couldn't be more pleased. Good match. It was actually a pretty damn good match. Damian Priest defeating Sheamus with the Reckoning. SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. Usos retaining the SmackDown Tag titles over the Mysterios. And that match had ran about 11 minutes, give or take. I thought for sure, I don't know how I'm very curious. Comment, guys. I'm very curious. I was under the impression that we were going to get another good feel moment right here. I was really under the impression father and son were going to come out of this as your SmackDown Tag Champions. It just kind of felt as though that was the writing on the wall. And the fact that we're still going with the Usos here out of SmackDown, that for me was just, well, okay. All right. Yeah, trust me, I wasn't upset or anything like that, but I just thought it was interesting that, okay. You know, it's kind of one of those type of deals. I still feel that based off what I had talked about on this week's shows, I still feel that Dominik eventually is going to turn on his father. I just feel that's what's going to be going down in the immediate future. I could be wrong about that. I could be. Wouldn't be the first. Definitely ain't going to be the last. But that's the impression that I'm under, is that ultimately Dominik is gonna turn on his dad. You know, he's gonna be a bit tired of always having that thumb under him and needling him and, you know, second guessing him and all that other shit. You know, that's just how it feels, honestly. You know, it almost kind of reminds me of one of my favorite comic book story arcs, Nightfall. And when Bane did what he did to Batman, you know, he broke him in half and all that. And Batman was so goddamn stubborn to get in contact with Dick Grayson. And at this point in the comics, Dick Grayson was Nightwing. He was Nightwing. And so he was doing his own thing. And when it came right down to, you got to remember, at its core, Grayson ended up becoming Nightwing as a result of Batman not relinquishing the cowl. Dick Grayson felt he was ready to take over. Bruce could go retire. Bruce pretty much having his Ric Flair, woo, never retire, baby. And so it's like, okay, well, I'll go be my own man, and I'll just go to, you know, a different city. I'll prove to you, I'll prove to myself that I can be the man. And so you would have thought that when it counted the most, after Bruce got his ass whooped by Bane, that, okay, you know what? Let me give Dick a call, because this is some bullshit. He didn't even do that. Instead, he appoints to be his successor Azrael. And I'll just leave it right there, right? So take that same concept I just described to you guys without being too long-winded about it. You got enough nuggets of information there now. Now take all of that and pretty much apply it to father and son Mysterio. So apply it to them. You know, sooner or later, that son is going to get to a point where he's like, okay, you know what? This shit that's been going on with my dad, you know, yeah, every time you turn around, it seems like Dominik just can't do anything right, doesn't it? Every time you turn around, it just seems that way. So, final moments of this matchup. Ray had connected with a 619, then tries to go up for the top. He's looking for a frog splash, but Jimmy interferes, counters that pretty good. Jey Uso then gets the tag. Usos connect with a super double kick. It's a super kick party. Super kick party. Man, I'm telling you, if I could just see for one night, if only for one night, if I can just get Usos and the Young Bucks and them boys, the Briscoes, just one night, I'd be set. I'd be set. Who wouldn't want to see that? Tell me who would not want to see that. That would be an epic ass fucking triple threat, yo. That'd be fucking epic. But anyway, yeah, they did the double super kick. Jaden heads up to the top, connects with a diving splash, 3 count, retaining SmackDown titles that way. Welcome to those of you that's checking out the show right now. This is your SummerSlam. I don't even think I said that at the beginning either. This is your official SummerSlam 2021 pay-per-view recap post-show. Lee Sanders here. Thank you guys for tuning in case those of you are just trickling on in here quietly. We're doing something new. If you want to be able to comment on a number of what you see going on in the chat, and don't worry, you'll definitely be able to see this on demand, the chat replay and all that. But specifically for those of you watching live, you want to be able to interact with everybody. You want to be able to interact with me. You got to subscribe. And the best part about subscribing, it don't cost anything. It's as simple as just pressing the button and you can, boom, you're in, and then you can pretty much do it like that. Next matchup, SmackDown Women's Championship. Bianca Belair taking on Sasha Banks. Only one problem. No Sasha Banks in the house. You heard rumblings. Look, we've been hearing about this for, my God, what's it been now? At least 2 weeks, pretty much. Maybe almost 3 weeks. Definitely 2 weeks, though. And it just really started to intensify. Everything started with, Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks had missed some house shows. And not for nothing, you had people that legitimately tried to take a guess at what was going on. Why could the reason be? And next thing you know, COVID. That's why they were pulled off of the shows. COVID. And you're going, okay, well, neither WWE star has gone to their social media accounts and have disclosed such information. WWE has not made any type of a comment whatsoever. So, try again, maybe? And it was just interesting how it just continued to pick up steam, okay? And as I'm seeing all of this just play out, I just couldn't help but say to myself, man, have we as wrestling fans not learned anything from what went down with Keith Lee? Remember how all the fans all of a sudden had PhDs? All of a sudden, all the fans had PhDs. They knew exactly what was going on there with Keith Lee. And all the nasty stuff that was thrown towards Mia Yim's way, his significant other. You're like, whoa, did we not learn anything from that? If there was ever we got to be better, look at how shit was handled there with Keith Lee. And man, did a lot of people miss the mark big time, blew shit out of proportion. You know, you're like, okay, let's just see what happens here, right? Let's just continue to see what happens here as it gets closer and closer and closer. Man, the shitstorm that had hit when it was announced that Sasha Banks was pulled from the match, that she was not able to compete here tonight. You had people that were in a shitstorm going, what the hell is going on? What's going on with Sasha Banks? You know, what the hell? It's like, we're probably most likely not going to get any answers tonight, but it's a number of things that could possibly be in the works in regards to Sasha Banks. For all we know, look, all I do, whether you agree or disagree, you know, hey, it makes great debate, right? But one thing there's no denying is you look at the fact Sasha Banks wasn't there tonight. For all you guys know, Sasha Banks was probably backstage And they said to her, look, this is what we're going to do instead. So, just relax, just, enjoy. They could have done that. For all you know, maybe some project that she was involved with had resumed filming. Look, not for nothing, and I'm not saying this just for the hell of it, but perfect example. Over here at AwesomeCon for the weekend, we were supposed to have Giancarlo Esposito from Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and now part of the Mandalorian series. We were supposed to have him this weekend. He actually was supposed to be there, I believe, all 3 days. But Saturday, he was supposed to be co-hosting a panel with Carl Weathers, Rocky fame, Predator and all that. He was supposed to be hooking up with him, and they were supposed to tag team on a panel. Giancarlo Esposito canceled less than 24 hours before AwesomeCon. I mean, it was bad. I mean, he canceled pretty much. It wasn't even a 24-hour notice. He canceled pretty much while you were sleeping. I believe he canceled late Thursday night, so probably like around 10 o'clock p.m., maybe 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, because AwesomeCon had first put out that news on their Facebook page before they posted it anywhere else. And you're like, whoa. Now, why am I mentioning all of this? So I was talking to a couple of people at AwesomeCon, and, some people that's pretty connected, pretty high up and all that. And, one of the things that was talked about was, look, these cancellations, it comes with the territory. It happens. What else are these actors / celebrities supposed to do? Especially when they've been waiting patiently to resume filming, and they've got to deal with this pandemic. And then when they finally get the green light to, okay, come on back, it's time to start filming, that's their main bread and butter. They got to go. They're not trying to mess that money up. They got to go do that. So for all we know, there might have been something in regards to some type of a filming project that was going on with Sasha Banks. Look, Sasha Banks very well could have COVID. But here's the thing that we all need to admit to ourselves. At this point in time, we don't know what's going on with Sasha Banks. So rather than drive ourselves crazy and put all this speculation out there and, I think, no, let's just deal with the facts. She wasn't there tonight. It is what it is. We will learn more, be it from WWE or Sasha Banks will speak publicly on the matter. Don't be so engulfed in that speculation bullshit. So no Sasha Banks tonight. Okay, fine. We find out that her replacement is going to be Carmella. Fans are not happy about this whatsoever. They're booing and everything. Bianca Belair's looking pretty damn salty about this because she was prepared to face Sasha Banks. But on the flip side, hey, look, not for nothing, you just beat this girl's ass on SmackDown, so you're actually all right. Just go out there, handle your business. It's all good. Just go, handle your business. Well, next thing you know, boy, did we get a nice surprise. We get the music of the man, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch finally making her triumphant return. So fucking awesome to see Becky Lynch back. Man, fantastic. She looks better than ever. Looks to be more leaner. Awesome. Just awesome. So she gets in there, beats the holy crap out of Carmella, issues a challenge to Bianca Belair. How about the man takes on the EST for that women's championship? Bianca Belair hesitates for a little bit, but then nods her head in approval, wants to do it. All right, match, it's on. Fans are eating this up. They are loving this. Great roaring ovation from that crowd. I mean, it was just, it had goosebumps moment, goosebumps moments almost, I would have to say. And look, keep in mind, we are just over 24 hours removed from CM Punk's return. Well, now kind of almost 48 hours, give or take. It depends how you want to look at it, but you get the point that I'm making. And I mean, that was the ultimate, right? But if you're also a fan of Becky Lynch, especially remember her shit from the Independents, to finally see this woman return, you're just going, and man, she got mad love tonight. Mad freaking love. I got a sound bar over my TV. So, man, I mean, I was feeling it. I mean, the roars. I could actually, my walls were vibrating from the fans' reactions. That's how, woo, right? So I usually like my shit nice and loud anyway. So I wish I could say a lot more about this match. I really, really do. But sadly, this match was 20 seconds. 20 seconds of a match. Now, you guys are probably saying, wait a minute, Lee. Surely that's an error. Surely you fucked up there and you went and you did something else there. No. Pretty much, bell rings. Becky Lynch connects with a forearm to the jaw. Follows it up with the manhandle slam. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. And now we've got everybody that decided they wanted to trigger on social media reacting to this. Some people felt that it was downright racism. And I know I would imagine there's going to be a decent amount of people that's going to be making YouTube videos and the whole 9 yards. And people are going to be saying WWE is racist. They're racist, and this is why they're racist. Here's what I had to say about Bianca Belair. I said this immediately. This was in real time. As soon as I had saw the results of this match. Okay? This ain't no Uncle Tom. This is just shooting from the hip. Been picking up a lot of steam too. A lot of people agree with this point that I made. At the same time, you've got other people that they don't have faith in WWE. Now see, look, I don't mind it if you don't have faith in WWE. I don't mind that whatsoever. But when you make the claim of, and you don't work in that company, all you're going based off of is, I don't even know if it is definitely flawed info, because if we're going to go the racism route, you can't help but look at a number of the minorities that's there in that company and say to yourselves, okay, well, if it's that deep, the racism, why are these talents of color working for this company? But here's what I had said. Before people get triggered over that Bianca quick defeat, remember, you all the same people complaining that her reign been sucking. Said for a few months she needs her mean streak from NXT back. What was done tonight will make her go there and be better. Enjoy the ride. That's what I said in a nutshell. It's amazing because you know who's actually been paying attention to the NXT product. You know who essentially knows enough about the WWE product and just the way things kind of flow and everything. I mean, as soon as everything had went down there with Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch, one of the first things I thought about was the WrestleMania where Sheamus defeated Daniel Bryan. What was that again? What was that, like 17 seconds or whatever the fucking bullshit number is? It was definitely within 20 seconds. That's for damn sure. That's exactly how I looked at this moment. Exactly how I looked at this moment. There were a decent amount of fans, and there have been a decent amount of podcasters, including myself, that have been looking at the reign of Bianca Belair. And make no mistake about it, as far as in-ring competitor, oh man, absolutely one of my fucking favorites in WWE. Absolutely one of my fucking favorites. I'm always entertained. Anytime I know Bianca Belair has a match, I already know it's going to be banging. I already know that. But what's been happening with her since she's been part of the main roster, it's been a little bit head scratching to a certain degree. It really, really has. There are certain wrestlers that you look at, you see them perform and everything, and you go, man, okay, well, why we got this over here when what we had over here? And again, look, sorry, not sorry for those that maybe did not watch her stuff in NXT. But if you did not watch any of her work in NXT, you cheated yourself big time, because her work in NXT was 10 times better than what you're seeing of her on the main roster, believe it or not. And she was operating mostly as a heel, but man, I mean, she was almost like a female version of Mr. Perfect, if I could be totally 100. And I think now that I've said that, if you were to go back and check out some of the stuff that she was doing in NXT, you'll see some of those points that I'm talking about. So, look, I get where people are coming from, but some people even felt that, oh man, this is how you do her. You just pretty much throw her in the trash. You just pretty much dismiss Bianca Belair. It's like, nah, man, you missing the whole point when it comes to Bianca Belair. No, man. These are the seeds that's being planted here.
Baby.
To help. Baby. Yes, you do. We got Will Smith, not to be confused with the actor. We got Will Smith that just subscribed. Welcome, Will. Pleased to meet you. Nice to know me. We got people that's looking at this and feeling, man, WWE just, how could they do her like this? This is just so fucking wrong. What the hell, man? It's like, wait a minute. Just kick back and enjoy the ride, because look at what happened here tonight. What you got is the perfect blueprint to have Bianca Belair. Think about the first lyrics in her theme song. What's the first lyrics in her theme song? How it go? Remember? I'm on my own against the world. Now look at what essentially happened with her in that moment when she lost the championship to Becky Lynch. Hell, I'll go one further. Look at the reaction Becky Lynch had got. What really should have been all about Bianca Belair, all about her moment, all about her having this rematch with Sasha Banks, all got essentially hijacked by Becky Lynch. But then to add more insult to injury, we have Becky Lynch defeat Bianca Belair for that SmackDown Women's Championship. Let's up the ante even more. And shout out to the fans that were in attendance, because as soon as they saw that finish to Becky Lynch, there was no denying. And we can all be in agreement. And I'm not justifying the finish to that match, by the way. We can all be in agreement. That was kind of a, what the fuck? Without a doubt. There's no disputing that. It was a what the fuck. Right down to the point, you see those fans in attendance. Even the fans they got their hands up like, what the fuck, right? Yes, without a doubt. But you got to take a step back before you're ready to hit that red button and go, WWE is racist. WWE is sexist. WWE, them fucking feminists. Before you go, you got to just take a step back and go, wait a minute now. What are we doing here? Seriously, what are we doing here? To see Bianca Belair after Becky Lynch defeats her, and pretty much you got the confusion in the air from the fans of what just happened, but then they get lost in celebrating Becky Lynch as the new champion. Combine all of those things. I'm on my own against the world. And it was it was there in that exact moment did Bianca Belair truly realize that, you know what? I really am on my own. I really am against the world. There was one comment I had saw on Twitter, and I appreciate everybody that's been engaging me on that comment I had made on Twitter, by the way. But there was one comment in particular, and I wanna home in Cal Anthony. He brought up a really good point. He says, "Are they though? I could see your logic if that's what they're actually gonna do, but unfortunately, I have no trust that these people know what the fuck they're doing. It's more likely they ride on Becky's back until Mania and push Belair down the card until Black History Month." Now, that's a damn shame that we've got a fan that feels like that. But you know what? That's his right to feel that way. I understand definitely where he's coming from. I remember feeling that exact same way when it came to Booker T not winning the World Heavyweight Championship, the big gold belt from Triple H at WrestleMania. I remember feeling I get it. Sincerely, I get it. But make no mistake about it. I mean, we really need to take a step back once again before we race to go to that logic. We really got to take a step back and say, well, wait a minute here, man. Let's deal with the facts. When it counted the most, when Becky Lynch was gone, when Charlotte Flair was out for a hot little bit, when Ronda Rousey fucking, right, just poof, gone. When we had all these crazy things that was going on with the women's division, girls like Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, before she got released, Zelina Vega, all of these women, they were stepping their games up big time. Carmella as well, I got to put her into the mix. Raquel Gonzalez. We saw women that were stepping their games up big time. Now, some people will say, don't include Raquel, don't include the NXT girls. That's fine. But you get the point that I'm making. Bianca Belair represented for the upper card women's division when it needed representation the most. She helped them in such a clutch moment. When you look at fucking MVPs during this pandemic, no particular order, you got to give Asuka, you got to give Bianca Belair, and you got to give Bayley their flowers. Because them women fucking represented fucking big. You even got to give Sasha Banks her flowers to a certain degree. Those women represented big time. The idea that now that the man is back and Bianca Belair is essentially going to just go down to the bottom. No. She's going to get more championship opportunities. We have not seen the last of Bianca Belair on top. On the contrary. Just for now, just sit back, enjoy the ride. Just take a lot of what I had said and just you'll see what I'm talking about. Don't be too surprised if we get us a nice, hot, and salty ass Bianca Belair. We get that retro NXT Bianca Belair. That baddest bitch. Yes. We get that version and oof. Just enjoy the ride. But I do feel where you guys are coming from. I really do feel where you guys are coming from. I had to spend a few minutes on that particular topic because that's been probably one of the most hottest buttons from SummerSlam tonight. You know, and we'll probably revisit it a little bit more on Monday because I kind of have a feeling we'll probably have even more information to be talking about. Let's see. Let's keep rocking and rolling here. So we talked about that matchup. Drew McIntyre defeating Jinder Mahal. Y'all gonna think this is funny, and you're gonna think that I'm telling a joke. I'm really not. When I saw that this match was next, I remember hearing and seeing the video package for it. I actually grabbed my tablet, went to the restroom, because I was in there a minute. I had to make brownies. I come back, the match is over. That tells you how I felt about that whole fucking feud. So I did not see any of this match whatsoever. So yeah, I ain't gonna even lie to you guys. Yeah, that's what I was doing. So Drew McIntyre defeating Jinder Mahal. Tender are my balls. Triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship. Nikki Ash losing the championship in that triple threat there. She defended it against Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley. Charlotte Flair becoming the new Raw Women's Champion. You remember on the post show, or not the post show, but I think it was on Wednesday when we were going over predictions. If you guys remember, I was very on the fence right down to the point when we even did the Friday show. I believe I told you guys I had a little bit of hesitation there in regards to the matchup. I wasn't quite sure, and I remember just saying, you know what, I'm going to go ahead this go round. I'm going to stick with Nikki Ash, but just kind of feels like her time in the sun is almost up here. Look, I still feel in my heart of hearts that in regards to Nikki Ash, I feel, just as I've been talking about within the past 2 weeks, I still feel that there is something dark and that there is something sinister that's going on here with Nikki Ash. I feel that there is going to be a touch of evil that's going to be coming, man. And you guys need to prepare for it. I mean, I'm just picturing her in this whole superhero thing, and I know that she's into the comic books and animated stuff and all that, and I just can't help but wonder if, I got two questions. If I could interview Nikki Ash, I have two questions for her. One would be, did you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier? If so, what did you think of it? So technically, that's two questions, so really three questions. And then my third question would be, could you see, given what happened with Agent Walker, could you see yourself doing something like that, implementing something like that in your Nikki Ash character, but with a few tweaks and taking it to that next level? I mean, I'm really just getting this vibe that she is going to go this psychotic fucking route with this character. I know a lot of people are going to be looking at what went down tonight, and they're probably going to be thinking to themselves, well, surely this is the end of the superhero gimmick, the almost. No. I truly do not believe that. I believe we're being set up for something more dark and sinister here. You got an opportunity here. I definitely think you should take it. You should definitely explore it. Whether or not WWE is going to go that route, that remains to be seen. But for those of you that's thinking, oh, ding dong, the almost superhero is dead, not so fast. For those of you that did not watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that's going to go completely over your head, some of the stuff that I had talked about just now. But best advice I can give you is if you got about, I forget how much Disney Plus is these days. I think it's maybe almost $15. If you got it to spare, for a month, it's definitely worth going out of your way to binge on the episodes. It's only about 10 episodes. Edge. Seth Rollins. Oh, yeah. Let's look at the match times right away. I haven't done the match times in a minute. Pre-Sheamus was 13 minutes, 50 seconds. Usos over Mysterio's 10 minutes and change. We already told you about Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair. That was 27 seconds. Drew defeating Jinder Mahal. My balls. 4 minutes and change. Charlotte Flair defeating Nikki Ash, Rhea Ripley becoming the new Raw Women's Champion. 13 minutes, 5 seconds. Edge, Seth Rollins, 21 minutes, 15 seconds. I kept telling people, it was weird seeing the reactions that people had for this matchup too, by the way. You know, a lot of people were looking at this going into the match. A lot of people were looking at this matchup going, I'm like, why? It's actually a fantastic built-up match. I mean, of all the matches that has enough of a build-up to it, enough story in it, this is one that you can definitely get behind here. And just on paper, you're just, no, this is actually, you can almost visualize how this match is probably going to play out. And you're saying to yourself, no, you know what? This actually might be a good sleeper hit match of the night. And sure enough, Edge, Rollins, they did deliver. I did have a little bit of a bone to pick with some of the early psychology that was going on in the match, though, because it's like, man, all this animosity, all this hatred, right? And then what's the very first thing that these guys do after the bell has essentially rung? They do a fucking lockup. You know, if I'm telling somebody, man, I should have freaking put my boot on your neck. I should have just broke your neck in half and ended your career when I had an opportunity. Make no mistake, when we get in that ring, I see that opening, I am taking it. Okay, so you have pretty much said that you are going to threaten my livelihood. You have pretty much told me that you are going to do everything in your power to cripple me. You are going to put me in a wheelchair. You are going to make me immobile, right? You are going to make sure that I am just waist down, neck down. You are going to make sure that I am just freaking dead. Okay. Not if I get you first, motherfucker. And we do a lockup. It was very frustrating because it was like, wait a minute, I thought we were watching two guys beat the living shit out of each other here. But then we're going this wrestling mat grounded route, and you're kind of going, well, what's going on here? Right? But after a while, they picked it up, and it was okay, fine. They switched gears after a while, and very good match. Very good matchup. For me, as far as all the matches on the card, and I'm just looking at it, I won't say absolute favorite, but it was definitely one of my favorites. If I had to just, out of the three, my three right now from SummerSlam, definitely Cena, Reigns, Lashley, Goldberg, and I definitely would put Edge and Rollins followed up after that. And then probably after that, actually, you know what? Let's switch. I would switch. No, I'm fine with that. Then I would follow it up with Damian Priest and Sheamus. I would do it just like that. I would actually set it up just like that. But, yeah, damn good competitive match. I love Edge's entrance, though, coming out to the old retro brew theme. Oh, man, my man gave me goosebumps. Oh, to see Vampire Edge just briefly there, you're going, oh. And the only thing missing was fucking Gangrel and Christian. Those were the only things that were missing there, man. I miss Gangrel holding that big-ass fucking cup. A cup of blood, and he's just rocking it with the shades in the center. He's just like, yeah. Oh, you know why I was such a big fan of that? I know nowadays we got, Twilight that's running around, the little franchise, the Twilight and all that. But what was really cool about that when the Brood had first came about, it's interesting because if I remember correctly, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, because a lot of people forget, the movie came first. And then once the movie was such a great success that it was, then you had the TV series. And so what was so cool about when Edge was doing his thing in the Brood, for you younger wrestling fans or wrestling fans that don't remember that particular period in time there, what was really cool about that was it essentially was capturing the flow of what was going on with pulp culture back then, and vampires and all that. I mean, it's a pretty cool, popular fucking thing, man, especially given the fact that just before all of that, let's not forget one of the all-time greatest vampire movies that's out there. Really two, because it's actually a tie for me. Interview with the Vampire, starring Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, and then The Lost Boys with Kiefer Sutherland. So to essentially see all of these elements that I just talked about rolled up and presented in the sport of professional wrestling, and you had Edge and Christian and Gangrel doing their just great times, man. Great times. Great fucking times. So that was nice how they incorporated that with Modern Edge, because eventually they went on ahead and did the Modern Edge theme song and all that. Good shit. Good shit. As far as top-notch entrances go, I definitely got to give it up to just the presentation, just the presentation. I definitely got to give it up to Edge. Rollins had a pretty damn good entrance too, man. I think it was more so the attire I was feeling. And every time I see this guy, he's always pushing something badass, man. Trying to figure out what more I can say about this match, by the way. Bear with me a second here, because I want to go to my notes on this matchup. Only thing more I would have to say about Edge taking on Christian here. I said Edge versus Christian. I wish it was Edge versus Christian, yo. Edge versus Christian at WrestleMania. That'd be badass. No. Edge versus Seth Rollins. Oh, yeah, and he beat him by submission. Yeah, that was the best part. I loved those series of counters that they did towards the end there, and Edge just different variations of a submission hold there, and then finally he just gets Seth Rollins on a modified sleeper hold, and that pretty much was it. Yeah, that match was stellar fucking good. Definitely a fucking classic. You kind of can't help but wonder what's next for Edge here, or is Edge, Rollins, they're going to go at it again? My 2 cents from a distance, they're going to go at it again, because if I'm not mistaken, the very next pay-per-view that's going to be coming up is Extreme Rules, and Extreme Rules is going to be going down on September 26th, Columbus, Ohio, at the Nationwide Arena is where it's going to be going down. Also announced on SummerSlam tonight, Crown Jewel, it's going to be going down in October. Yeah, October. Matter of fact, I believe it's going to be happening, I almost want to say October 21st is kind of the date I remember seeing. If you guys can bear with me a second, I can actually look at my calendar real quick. But October 21st is what I remember. Let me look here. And that sounds about right, because usually we get the Crown Jewel pay-per-views during a work week. That's the one thing I've always remembered about it. It's always during a fucking work week. And usually I'm working, sadly. Yeah, I got the 21st of October being on a Thursday. And I got to double check with Wifey, but I'm not sure if my Jericho cruise is actually going to be around that period, or if it's going to be before. I got to double check on that one. But if they end up doing Crown Jewel during the middle of the workday, because usually when they do, for us guys in the U.S., it's usually some point during the day, while it's essentially nighttime over there in Saudi Arabia. So if it's like it normally has been these past couple of years, then what's probably most likely going to happen for a post show, I will just watch it when I get home from work or school, and then depending on how late it is, how late that thing runs, I may just end up the next day doing a post show for you guys. Also announced, still WWE related, and SummerSlam related. We finally got an update on what's going on with WWE 2K22. So we got shown more, not just images, but we were shown actual gameplay footage, entrances, moves and all that in the ring. And the game looks pretty good. We also now know when this game is going to be in our hands. This game is going to be in our hands come March 2022. You heard me right. March 2022. Marinate on that for a hot minute. I saw a lot of people that were complaining about this online. And I just couldn't help but say, now, wait a minute now. And see, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, okay, about you can't please everybody, nor should you try. Remember, one of the biggest complaints that had came from the 2K franchise was that, man, you guys are making these games every fucking year. And what was really, really good with the cool features that you had maybe 4 or 5 games ago, you pretty much stripped from all these other releases. What the hell is going on here? Right? Glitches, all kinds of just, right? Pretty much they're Madden. It's pretty much their Madden. Madden usually has one cool little nugget of awesomeness, or 2 if you're lucky. 3's really pushing it. And then, I'm good. One of those type of deals. It's like, okay, so you're not going to get this game for what, another 7 months? Because what, this is August, right? So September, October, November, December, January, February, March. 7 months. You're not going to get the game for another 7 months. Okay. I say, great. That really tells me they are trying to do their best to really take their time, fine-tune everything, really make sure that by the time they get ready to put this game in the hands of the fans, that it is definitely a bona fide, top-notch quality finished product. I'm okay with that, however long it takes. Look, have we not learned from what went down there with Cyberpunk 2077? That game just out of the box and man, look, they're doing their best with the patches. They are. But you still got people that's going, yeah, you know what? I'll just play this sometime in 2022. By then, everything will have been put out there as far as patch, downloadable content, and everything should be corrected by then. So I commend the great team behind 2K for really taking their time and trying to do this right. Will it live up to the hype? We'll see. Will I get 2K22? I definitely will. They're taking this amount of time. I'll give them a chance because Lord knows I missed out on the last, I want to say I missed out probably on the last 4 installments, give or take, of 2K. Yeah, so I missed about at least 4 years worth, maybe almost 5 years worth. I'm willing to give them a shot. And I'll be as very candid with my review as possible to let you guys know if it's definitely something you should check out or if you should pass up on. All right, so we got, at this point, 2 more matches to talk about. Got to give a shout out to Gable Stevenson. And what's the name of the girl there? Bear with me a second here. 1 minute I had her name, and then the next minute, and it's a long name too, man. You got to bear with me a second here. And I remember when we had talked about Gable Stevenson, because his name should sound familiar to you guys, because on a show, God, it felt like maybe here on the show last year we talked about him, or maybe it was 2 years ago. Yeah, he was doing some training down in Minnesota with Brock Lesnar. So this is a guy that WWE has had on their radar for a while now. But it was a really cool ass moment to see him in the WWE ring there. You almost had got the impression that WWE was essentially telling you, hey, look what we're working on. Look what's happening in the very near future. Here's something really cool that you get to look forward to. I got her name now. Bear with me here. Is this her actual? Hang on. Tamara Minsha Stock. So, the Olympians, both of them, they got their gold medals and all of that. So that was really cool. And, she's a big WWE fan. She's even let it be known in interviews that, yeah, she would love to at some point do some work with WWE. She would legit like to wrestle for them and all that. So, I mean, shit, if you're WWE or hell, if you're any wrestling company for that matter, you're definitely trying to see what's going on there. But, you almost kind of got the impression, and it's kind of sad because as I was watching these guys make their way down the ramp, go into the ring and everything, the crowd was pretty much kind of like, we don't really know who these people are. And I just kind of wish they would have got a really good, better, juiced up introduction, if you will. Like, even if a motherfucker doesn't watch the Olympics, right? Man, if you can at least butter it up in such a way where, they went overseas and competed in the blah, 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 just days ago. And, they had, brought home gold for USA. That way you can get USA, USA, USA. Like, you missed out on a really, really great moment right there. But I can put that to the side and just really look at what I saw tonight with those guys in the ring for what it's worth. And you really just honestly came away with, okay, WWE is letting us know they're working on something. If they haven't already worked on it, they're working on something with these guys. Okay, cool. By the way, shout out to Tiffany Haddish and Mario Lopez. They were special backstage interviewers. I don't know if they did anything during the kickoff show. If they did, I would have to rely on you guys, but they seem to gel pretty well. Yeah, I didn't see them together. I just saw them individually interviewing folks. We only saw them like once a piece during the actual pay-per-view. Again, if they did stuff during the pre-show, I don't know anything about it, but Mario Lopez, everybody's known for years. He's been a huge wrestling fan, right down to the point, I'll never forget, because he actually had liked it, and I think Paige maybe even said something in regards to it. But back when Paige was still dating Alberto El Patron, and there was talk about a Paige movie, I remember putting out there, okay, well, if you need somebody to be Alberto Del Rio, why not get Mario Lopez? And fucking Mario Lopez had liked that joint. Paige even ended up liking it. And I think one of them had said something. I'm not quite sure because it's been so long ago. But yeah, he's been a wrestling fan for he's a legit wrestling fan. So, and I remember there's been off and on over the years, there's been a couple interviews where he's even said, hey, I wouldn't mind doing something in the ring. I kind of always wanted to be a wrestler. I wouldn't mind doing something. So, I mean, he's got a great fucking look. He definitely has mad fucking personality. And he still, believe it or not, you look at him, he looks pretty good, doesn't he? He looks like he's in his 30s, doesn't he? Mario Lopez is 47. 47. Don't look like it, does he? But he's 47. He's going to be 48 this October. And he's in phenomenal shape. The shirt that he had wore, that was good representation too. That Heart Foundation shirt that he wore doesn't do him justice. You should really follow him on social media because when it comes to working out, that boy is chiseled. I bullshit you not. That boy is chiseled. Goldberg taking on Bobby Lashley. WWE Championship. 7 minutes, 20 seconds. Bobby Lashley wins as a result of referee stoppage. Now look, this match, just a couple of spots where it was a little bit rough. Just a little bit, okay? But overall, you're going to hear some people, I'm trying to prepare you guys. You're going to hear some people that's going to shit all over this match. You're going to hear from some people that are going to take a massive shit on Goldberg. I am here to tell you, as someone that has a notorious reputation, especially when it comes to Goldberg, what the hell, that was shit. That was all right. Honestly, I'm good. I don't need no more Goldberg matches. I'm good. I've been that guy over the years that Goldberg has been back in the WWE this go round. You're going to hear a lot of people that's going to shit, particularly on Goldberg. Maybe they've got a personal hate thing going on. Love, hate, love with Goldberg. I don't know what it is. But I'm here to tell you, in all honesty, all transparency, this was probably one of the best Goldberg matches I have seen since he's been back with the WWE this go round. I bullshit you not. I'm not pulling your leg. Seriously. Rough in a couple areas, without a doubt, and from Goldberg's side. I remember there was a spot, I think, on the turnbuckle that kind of, but Lashley seemed to have been all right, and it was kind of, okay, all right. But no, this was actually one of Goldberg's best matches. You know, and I got to give Goldberg a lot of props too, man. He looked even more shredded than ever compared to, you know, previous times we saw him throughout the years. I love how this was all laid out, this match. I really do. I loved how it was laid out. I love that you had a battle of the strengths that was going on there early on, with Goldberg essentially getting the best of Lashley. But then the tides essentially turn when you've got Lashley, who pretty much just, you know, does a low. He goes low on Goldberg's legs. And then once he essentially smells blood, he decides, okay, yeah, I can pretty much focus on this. And he is just going to work on that freaking leg of Goldberg's. I really, really loved how all of this was laid out. Lashley then slams Goldberg's leg into the steel post as they were outside brawling, and he ends up putting him over his shoulders and just rams that leg not once but twice into the steel post. Badass, fucking badass, what Lashley had did there. And then from there, action eventually goes back in the ring. Lashley is focusing more on the leg, but the referee decides, okay, you know what? This match, it just can't continue. Now, I do have one bone to kind of pick with here. I really do. Because if we're going to have a situation where the referee does a stoppage because he feels that, no, this person cannot compete, then why did we have John Cena go through the Roman Reigns go through the announce table there by John Cena in the main event? I'm just saying, if there was ever a time for stoppage, if we're going to stop for this, I kind of need that to be a little bit consistent and kind of flow its way over here. You feel where I'm coming from? So, yeah, that was a little bit, yeah. That's all I got to say about that, y'all. But MVP coming in there as well. Oh, all of that was just laid out beautifully. Post-match, you've got Lashley, who's still pretty salty over Goldberg, as MVP slides in there a steel chair. Lashley goes to work on the legs and body of Goldberg. Gage jumps Lashley from behind. Lashley not really sure what the hell's going on. He manhandles the hell out of Gage, gets him in a full Nelson, and only then does kind of MVP realize, oh shit, that's Goldberg's son, and tells Lashley to stop. Now, the ultimate sin has been committed as they make their exit. MVP telling Goldberg, hey man, Lashley and I, we had no idea that was your son. Please try to understand. We had no idea that was your son. How are we supposed to know? He attacked Lashley from behind. You got Goldberg pretty pissed off. Actually told Lashley and MVP that they're dead men. So obviously this is going to continue. I guess we're riding into Extreme Rules, or maybe Crown Jewel is where this is pretty much going to wrap up. Goldberg had recently said in an interview, this may make some of you guys happy, but Goldberg had recently said in a interview that he has 2 matches left on his current contract. His current WWE deal, he said that he has 2 matches left. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. But I'm trying to think where he gave, if you guys can bear with me a second here. Yeah, his direct quote, "Hey, I've only got 2 more matches on my deal here, so we'll see what happens." And right before that, he had talked about how, how he had 2 more in-ring matches left in his contract, which could mean anyone is next if he were to take home the championship. But he didn't. He didn't take home the championship tonight. But he's got 2 more matches left in his current deal. So you can't help but wonder how WWE is going to be strategizing here. Does WWE, okay, immediately let's go right to Extreme Rules, or you go right into Crown Jewel, and then do you maybe go right into next year's WrestleMania and try to do something with Goldberg? Kind of interesting what's going on here. But what I'm most curious about is if WWE is going to try to get some type of a new deal in place for Goldberg. That's the one question that I have in mind right now. That's the one question that I'm most curious about, because you see what's going on there with AEW. And at this point, do you maybe go on ahead and say, nah, man, we need to keep all our star power as much as humanly possible. You know, look at what our competitors are doing. I'm not saying like out of intimidation, but all right now, right? You've already lost a decent amount of people that's now popping up at AEW and going to other places. You know, can you really afford to just keep on? You feel where I'm coming from? So that's going to be a very interesting decision. That's going to be a very interesting crossroads that WWE is going to have on their hands in regards to Goldberg. So I'm very, very, very curious. And legit, you know what? I'm curious. What do you guys think? Would you all want for WWE, like legit, would you guys want for WWE to work out some type of deal where they can keep Goldberg? Like, is there a few more matches that you guys legit want to see with Goldberg? I'm most curious. Or at this point, are you honestly saying, nah, you know what, man? They've done more than enough. Even if he were to do something with AEW, it's all good. Let's see some more fresh new matchups there for Goldie. Nah, his time in WWE, it's stick a fork in it. I'm curious, so definitely sound off on that. All right, we got one more match to talk about. John Cena, Roman Reigns, Universal Championship. Fucking A. Fucking A. Good. Very good. This is how you close out. This is how you close out. I love this. I love this. 23 minutes, 4 seconds. How do you rate this match? Do you rate this match as it is, or do you include what happened post-match? There's like 2 different ways you can look at that matchup, man. But, man, great white-hot crowd. Cena had one kick-ass ring attire. I love that whole Mario Brothers 3 inspired attire that he had. That was, oh man, I told wifey, I said, I want that shirt so bad. I gots to have that shirt. Go on WWEshop.com and you'll see the shirt that I'm talking about. It is badass. It is badass. I told her, I said, legit, I could see myself pushing that. Like, I would legit push that just random day, going to the grocery store or going to the gym or whatever, you know, riding my bike, like I can legit see myself actually pushing that fucking shirt. That's how cool that shirt was. Very seldom does a WWE shirt really gravitate to me and like I gotta have that shirt. Very, very fucking seldom. That was badass. That was fucking badass. The boys had a good match, man. That was a fucking instant classic of a match. I loved it. The trash talking coming from Roman Reigns just really, really making you hating Roman Reigns, but also appreciating his trash talking at the same time. I loved hearing him and seeing him look for one of the main cameras and actually talk to Hollywood, telling them, we don't need him here. I'm here. Y'all ain't gonna never get me in Hollywood. You ain't gonna never get me for your projects and all that. So don't even bother. But please, please, I don't want him. We don't want him. Just take him back. Keep him in Hollywood. I just loved his trash talking, man. That some funny ass shit, man. Roman Reigns, this has got to be, you know, and as I had talked about at the panel on Friday, this is his best work. This is absolutely his best fucking work. It really, really is. What more do you say about Roman Reigns and John Cena, by the way, other than the fact that Roman Reigns had retained the championship? Closing moments of that one, John Cena tried to set up the attitude adjustment, and he did. Tried to go in for the cover. Reigns kicked out. Then from there, Cena and Reigns, they pretty much were slugging it out, just going back and forth in the middle of the ring. Reigns connects a couple of Superman punches. Reigns connects with a spear. That point, though, Cena went on ahead, kicked out. From there, Roman Reigns. Actually, you know what? Actually, no, I'm looking at my notes here. Bear with me a second here. So I got my notes a little bit jumbled up here. No, Reigns connects with 2 super punches. Then he follows it up with the spear. And 1, 2, 3, pretty much was able to defeat John Cena that way. Great fucking match. Seriously, great fucking match. I want to see more. I don't know how you guys feel, but me personally, I want to see more John Cena, Roman Reigns, but I just don't know if we're going to get that. And if we are possibly able to get it, if maybe it'll go down at Crown Jewel, you know, we'll have to wait and see. But post-match is where things just really, shit got real. Can we be honest? Shit got real. To some of you guys' points in the chat, to Tony's point particularly, Brock! Good old fucking Brock Lesnar. The music hits, Brock Lesnar finally making his triumphant return. Full fucking beard. Probably the first time in WWE that we've seen a Brock Lesnar with a full beard. Got a nice Manchu fucking samurai ponytail thing going in. Shaved all, you know, on the sides there and in the back of the head, but got this cool ass wicked little samurai ponytail going on. He looks as though he has been hitting the weights a little bit more, doing cardio a lot more, because he looks extremely lean and more defined. And, you know, wifey brought up a good point. She said, man, his waist is so tiny. She's like, that's the tiniest I've seen his waist. And I had to think about it. I said, you know, because I've watched him since he made his WWE debut and all that. And I briefly remember seeing some of his stuff in OVW too. You know, I told her, I said, you know, I haven't seen, now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't seen his waist probably that small, not since his rookie days in WWE. She was like, really? It was like, yeah. So that, yeah, but he pops up. Great ovation from the crowd. I mean, they ate this shit up. They had to process what they were looking at, because, you know, they hear the music, but then they're looking at the guy and it's like, okay, is it? Yeah, it is. Paul Heyman really selling it really selling the shit out of that moment. You got to give a lot of props to Paul Heyman, because Paul Heyman, just the little subtle things that he does just really helps magnify the importance of what is going on in that particular moment of time, and how the fan potentially needs to react to that moment that's happening in real time. Example, as Brock pops up and he's getting closer to the ring, you just hear Paul Heyman, and it's not, damn Paul, did somebody shoot you? It's not one of those type of awes. It's literally one of those, he is in shock, he is in awe, he can't believe what is playing out before his eyes. And poor Paul Heyman, Lord, you're with your current girlfriend, but over here is your other girlfriend that you didn't quite break up with just yet. Paulie, what you gonna do, man? Well, in this case, Paulie did leave with his tribal chief, but the way Heyman just continued to sell the look of fear, confusion, intimidation, that was just badass. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, the ultimate stare down there. Roman Reigns essentially saying a little something, but it was almost kind of as if once Brock Lesnar got in the ring, the big dog just kind of went, yo, and essentially backed away, rolled out as Heyman tags along with him, and pay-per-view pretty much going off like that. All right, so now we essentially know what's next here for Roman Reigns. What's next here for Roman Reigns is Brock Lesnar. And what the hell is going to happen right here? Is Brock Lesnar going to come in and take this title away from Roman Reigns? Or, you would like to believe that maybe Big E is still that guy. He is still that guy that's going to dethrone Roman Reigns. But damn, that's a great way to end a pay-per-view. That is a great way to end a pay-per-view, without a shadow of doubt. Without a shadow of doubt. What year is this again? John Cena, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton. Am I missing anybody else? Anybody else in there that's like a fucking MVP? Bobby Lashley. It's like, what? Seriously, what fucking, Jeff Hardy. What year is this, man? Seriously, what fucking year is this? Great pay-per-view. Sound off for those of you that, because I definitely want to get to you guys' comments, and you guys, the chat room really hasn't been moving that much. So if you guys want to call into the show and sound off about the pay-per-view, you can definitely do so as I get ready to just, at this point, it's just closing thoughts. So if you want to interrupt the closing thoughts, you can definitely, Edge. Yes, Edge. Again, what year is it? Seriously, what year is it? Shit, seriously. But yeah, if you guys want to call into the show or give your overall thoughts about the pay-per-view, I'll definitely show you guys some love, because you've been so nice listening to me talk and all of that. I like, this is our show, so you guys definitely have your moment in the sun as well. And while I'm buying you guys some time, the returns alone, the Becky Lynch, the Becky Lynch return, Steven, let me finish my train of thought real quick. Give me about 30 seconds and you can call back in. I see you, Steven. Hang up, Steven. Yeah, give me about 30 seconds. Let me finish my train of thought. Seeing Becky Lynch return, seeing Brock Lesnar come back tonight. Cool ass fucking moments right there. Edge having the great type of singles match on a much grander scale here with Seth Rollins. Good shit here. Looking at the rest of the card, just kind of thinking about the rest of the card here. If I were to give an overall rating for SummerSlam tonight, I'm just looking at the card one more time here. Now, see, I can't include the pre-show matchup. I can't include that one because I didn't see that one. And I cannot include Drew McIntyre taking on Jinder Mahal because I did not see that one. So just looking and thinking about the rest of the matches, scale of 1 to 10, 1 being shit, 10 being awesome sauce, I would probably give this pay-per-view, I got to rate it two ways. If I'm taking away the Becky Lynch and Brock Lesnar returns, I'm going to give the pay-per-view a 6 out of 10. I think that's more than fair. A 6 out of 10. Include the returns, goes up by 2 points as far as I'm concerned. It's an 8 out of 10. I don't see it. I don't see how anybody can disagree with that, right? I don't see how anybody can disagree with that. All right, so again, if you want to call into the show, you can call in. I only ask that you make your points be as concise, be very pinpoint as possible, and try to keep it brief. If you can try to keep it under 4 minutes, that's great. There's no need to do a whole recap because we just, we already done it just then for you guys. Programming notes. It feels like Monday, by the way, and I know it's not Monday, but it feels like we're now going into Monday. But Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Check it out. You guys are going to see the AWESOMECON panel that myself and Tams had conducted. It was great. We talked all things pop culture. We looked at how the pandemic has had its effect on the wrestling industry, comic book industry, entertainment industry in general. So we did about 90 minutes of a panel discussion. You guys will definitely enjoy that. And like I said, I'll be live in the chat box with you all while that's streaming. And then we got NXT TakeOver 36 that Sunday night. That's pretty much going to put a nice little bookend to a fantastic weekend in wrestling. Looking at some of the comments here in the chat here. Let me just try to get myself caught up here. Let's see what we got. And for those of you that's kind of like, hey, I can't leave a comment, be a subscriber. Join some of the people that have subscribed during the show just now. And you can be just like them, get your fun in the sun and interact and all that good stuff here. Once again, Robbie saying that SummerSlam was his absolute favorite pay-per-view of the year. He gave it a 10 out of 10. Ricky, this competition between AEW and WWE is what's best for business. Competition is always needed because companies get lazy after a while, after succeeding so much. I definitely agree that competition does, but I don't just look at it specifically from two people. You feel where I'm coming from? I don't know if that kind of makes sense, but I'll give you an example in layman's terms what I mean, Ricky, in a nutshell. So let's say for instance if it's a very valid point. Here's a good one. When I was talking to Michael at AWESOMECON, and he hosts his own show. I got to get with him because we're definitely going to be doing some collaborations in the future because it turns out he's actually here in the DMV area as well. But when I was talking with him, he was telling me how, dude, your panel is the first panel for AWESOMECON. Like, you're opening up AWESOMECON day one. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. In layman's terms, what we say to that, the way we describe that, they pretty much had put you in no man's land. They essentially had gave you the bitch spot just to test you out, just to make sure, you're not going to cause any problems. I'm like, okay. It's like, gotcha. Right. So, and I know I passed their test. But, when I was talking about about the panel, he was telling me how he had went out of his way to come check out my panel because he wanted to make sure that the points that I was bringing up wasn't going to overlap with the stuff that he had planned on covering on his show. Now, I think that's good. But then also at the same, you're also looking at it from a competition standpoint and all of that. And yeah, on the one hand, I do think that it's very important to know what's going on with the competition and how you can do your very best to stay with the competition, stay in league with the competition. But then I also believe that, well, don't be so worried so much about the competition, because if you're so worried and focused about the competition, you're not really gonna truly be focused on originality and doing what you need to do to you feel where I'm coming from. So two things can be said that's true in that instance. But I look at what WWE and what AEW is doing in general and how it is helping wrestling as a whole develop together, because everybody benefits from this. And like I said at the panel, NWA and a few others, they working it, man. They working it. All right, see what else you guys are saying here. Ending was insane. It was. Last seconds of the pay-per-view made up for a lackluster SummerSlam. Yeah, Double DC, I think you would definitely probably see me halfway on that rating that I gave then, as far as giving it a, what was it? 8 out of 10. But minus the returns of Becky and Brock, that's like a 6 out of 10. Yeah. Because otherwise, you could almost kind of make an argument it felt like a super live show to a certain degree. You could definitely say that. Let's see what else we got here. I'm still trying to get caught up here. Bear with me. Let's see. So Steven's mad because Bianca Belair got beat by Becky in 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Come on now. You know damn well no match is going to end in 2 seconds. But I know what you're saying. They did her dirty. I wanted to see her as the longest reigning champ. Look, again, and we don't need to beat that horse to death, but I gave you everybody enough to think about in regards to Bianca Belair. I think WWE they're capitalizing. WWE wants, they're banking on people to be so triggered about what happened with Bianca Belair, because they want to be seeing that social media engagement. They want to see Bianca Belair trend on social media. They want to see those people that's going to write up articles, do video blogs about how WWE is so wrong in what they did to Bianca Belair, and right down to the point, make those videos titling it WWE is racist for stripping a black woman of her championship and her rightful place on top of the WWE. They want to see stuff like that because it all fits their narrative as far as the plans that they've got in motion. They're just rubbing their hands. Just now, we're just going to let this shit fly. They're doing literally like the Joker in The Dark Knight. And here we go. That's literally how they're doing it. Let's see. Lesnar beat Cena after the show, I think. Okay, so you're trying to say there was maybe some type of a dark match, is what you're alluding to. Well, if you can bear with me, I'm actually on social media right now, and I'm putting in the keyword SummerSlam dark match. Let's see, SummerSlam dark match. No. Apparently, Keith Lee had worked a dark match. They're saying he worked as a heel, apparently. This was a pre-show dark match that apparently he did. Let me see if I can get a little bit more info on that one for you guys. Bear with me a second here. Yeah. I agree. Now, what's going on here? Dark match. I'm trying to see if I can get the info for you guys. Nah, I'm not able to get any more info here. And apparently some of Mr. Money in the Bank being the dark match basically means he's cashing in. He may lose this match to keep up the swerve. If that's the case, let me see here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about John Cena, Brock Lesnar after SummerSlam. I'm not seeing that. I'll try one more thing because I like making sure we got as most up-to-date information as possible for you guys. But no. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about Brock Lesnar, John Cena after the show. Not seeing anything. We'll probably know definitely a lot more tomorrow, but the fact that I'm not seeing it right now, normally that type of stuff is like you would see that already, and the fact that it's not there yet, yeah. So, all right, guys. So as I get ready to make my exit, if you haven't done so already, whether you're checking this out live or you're checking this out on demand, if you're representing on the downloads, make sure if you haven't done so, hit that like. Definitely subscribe. Do hit that like. When you hit that like, you really help us a ton. It really does its job in helping more people discover the content with ease. For those of you that's going to be watching this on demand or listening to this on demand, leave your comments. I want to know what you had thought about the pay-per-view. Good, bad, and different. You can definitely leave a rating. Tell me your highs. Tell me your lows. You agree with some of the points I had brought up during this post show. You disagree. Definitely would love to hear your thoughts. Appreciate the support as always. And I will catch you guys Sunday. We got a double dose for you guys Sunday as far as content goes, as I'm still with you for the next couple of days, next couple of consecutive days of shows, because we got Sunday and then we got Monday and then we got Tuesday. And then we got fucking Wednesday as well. So it's pretty much all consecutive. Yeah, these next couple of days. Apparently, according to Main DC, and I was just on Twitter, but he's saying it's on Twitter and it's on the Bleacher Report that apparently Lesnar beat Cena down after the show went off the air. Well, look. That's what happened, right? That's what happened when it went off the air, right? Look, that's their way of giving the fans something special, giving the fans something a little extra. I really wouldn't read too much into that. I really wouldn't. I've been to enough of these WWE live events where, you know, after the show is over, the main show is over for the fans, after they cut off the camera feeds, they've always gotten in the habit of doing something really cool for the fans, whether it be a tag match or, you know, bonus singles match or some type of a cool special attractions match. They stay doing stuff like that. So, you know, if you're asking me if, you know, that might be some type of a future angle or whatever, you know, I would say it's just a little bit too early, because right now we should just be focused on the Roman and the Brock stuff and just kind of go from there. But you know, for right now, it just kind of feels to me like that was just kind of one of those special attraction type of deals that they were putting out there. So I'll tell you this much, though. When we get ready to do... See, it doesn't make sense to do it on the TakeOver post show, because we just need to be talking about all things TakeOver. But on Monday's RCWR show, because I'm sure by then... we will, Maine, I'm not denying what you said. There's no reason for me to check the Twitter. If you're saying that Lesnar and Cena did their thing after the pay-per-view went off the air, and if you're saying that Twitter and Bleacher Report, they pretty much are showing it, okay, then they're showing it. So the people, now they know. Go out there, out of your way, and go check it out. And what I was trying to say before, I'm going to check it out. But I already know if I even try to show that type of stuff during the stream, WWE is going to get in contact with me and they're going to say to me, yeah, you didn't get permission for that. You got to pull that. So that's cool. I'm just explaining to you guys how they typically operate once the pay-per-views are over and done with. Because remember, the last thing that we saw when we were watching the pay-per-views on Peacock tonight was what we saw with Brock Lesnar returning, and pretty much you got the fade to black. Again, I've been to enough of these WWE events. They always like doing really cool bonus shit for their fans after the feed is over. And it's nice that they're getting back into the habit of that once again, but most importantly, they're trying to make it count when it counts most and really make it be special rather than just, yeah, we're just going to do this random silly shit. And it's like, well, what's the point in this? Like, you know, you got to admit they're trying to focus on the quality. So definitely got to give them props for that. All right. So look, this show has now gone 2 hours, 5 minutes. No more. You guys that watch SummerSlam, we all went through it, right? But for those that did not, at least they got a nice little condensed post show. Heard some of you all's reactions and all that good stuff. So we'll stick a fork in it. We'll call it DONE done. I will be with you guys Sunday afternoon for that AWESOMECON panel. Look forward to that, 2 p.m. Eastern. That will be streaming on YouTube. And I think I'm actually going to stream that on multiple outlets, actually. So look out for that. And I'll catch you guys for the NXT TakeOver post show. Until then, please be safe. And most importantly, be kind to one another. And I will see you guys next go around. Adios, y'all. Take care.